Talking all that online, hope you got some soldiers. Talking all that online, hope you got some soldiers. When it's coming on your time, you're me asking order. I know you talking.
YouTube, what it do? It's your boy Doty Rock, Street News Booking, Street TV. Hey, man, today, man, hey, I want to do an update on that Young Dolph situation. Man, the whole setup behind the murder, the demise of that man, Young Dolph, the Memphis legend, the realest out of Memphis, the true king of Memphis, long live Flipper. Yeah, I want to do an update on that man, Young Dolph. Just want to talk about some things, that's always been popping up on these blogs. A lot of bloggers be having some confusion about some things, Hey, boy, Doty Rock's here to clear it up for everybody. Just as I cleared up the whole 22 shots, 22 gun wound exits and entrances, I had to clear that up for some bloggers. He was not shot 22 times. In fact, it was 22 gunshot entrance and exit wounds, all counted together. But let's go over some of them situations as far as the Young Dolph situation, okay? Now, let's remember that it's been a long feud between Gotti, CMG, and Young Dolph, PIE, with Dolph being from the other side of town, even though Gotti showed a lot of interest in Dolph because he did not want to see anyone in his city blow up bigger than him, he did approach him and try to sign Young Dolph. Young Dolph very humbly said, he respected him for that, but, he could not do business with that guy on the other side like that. He knew that he was going to be bigger than Gotti, and, Gotti had no interest in letting people being bigger than him, as most artists who are CEO run their business. So it was a few attempts on that man, Young Dolph's life. We all remember the CIAA in Charlotte, out in LA, he was shot, when they bumped heads. And it was also a situation down in Atlanta that was unreported, but hey, the streets definitely talked about it. And then, of course, it was a situation that happened down in Memphis at Makita's Cookie Shop. But, just a week before that happened, it was a situation that came up between Paper Route Wu and that man Straight Drop, who has been locked up and, beat up all inside of a cell behind this Young Dolph murder. His name has been definitely tied to the murder, and he is, is waiting trial just like some of these other fools. He's probably in there getting beat, ready to go ahead and flip and tell exactly what happened. But anyways, him and Paper Route Wu had a situation just like a week before, Young Dolph was murdered. They had already been trying to get rid of Dolph because Dolph was just too much for Gotti or CMG to handle. He was a one-man army. But at this time, Paper Route was building its way up as a powerhouse as far as a record label. You had a lot of young artists on there who was creating a lot of buzz in Memphis, in the streets the same way Dolph did. And we all know over time the streets would definitely overtake all that old fake radio shit. So, the real streets of PIE they was getting a lot of steam. Gotti and them did not like that. And once they seen everybody else, pretty much building that same bravado as Young Dolph, not giving a fuck about CMG and just disrespecting them, spitting on them, beating them up, they had to put together an elaborate plan to finally get rid of that man, Young Dolph. Hence that whole private meeting they had, where they was all there. Straight Drop, CEO Cheesy, Big Jook, Orange Mount Quake. It's his Yo Gotti's restaurant. So, he was there. That was the big meeting to finally get rid of that man, Young Dolph. So we know who the big players was from the rap situation and the rap scene, the wannabe rappers, the fake rappers. But who played a part from the other side? Who from the inside of Makita's? Who else? You know, who else lured him? Who else tracked him? We know he was definitely tracked. It was a video of somebody recording that man Dolph at the Shell gas station, very close to Makita's. Everybody's focused on the truck, the Tahoe, the Suburban. Who was in that Tahoe? Who was in that Suburban? But who was in that white car in front of that Suburban? That's who I want to know. Who was in that car? Because that person is the one who was recording Dolph. They were with the person in the truck. Those two cars were together. But who was in that white car? You know, they were tracking Dolph, making sure that people knew where he was going to. He was on his way. Yes, he's definitely on. He's close. He's almost there. All the way up to he's dead. Hence, Keosha. Come on, Keosha. Where you at, girl? We know you was involved. You made sure you went to that scene and said, oh yeah, it's definitely Dolph. It's definitely Dolph. I can confirm that pretty much. But you seem to have a lot of involvement, Miss Keosha. Now remember, Keosha, you was at that Shell station. You were at the Shell station when Dolph was shot and killed inside Makita's. Because he was shot inside. We'll get to that in a minute. But you told us in your live you were at the Shell station. You and your baby was walking inside, meaning you and your kid was walking inside. Y'all heard the gunshots going off. You looked and seen it was at Makita's by the wash that you was just at the day before. Yeah, you was just at that wash the day before. That's what you said. But you was at that Shell station and you said 2 cars full of niggas pull up. You said one of them was white. You was correct on that. You didn't give us other information. You said you wasn't sure about that. Now, was you not sure about that because you know it was maybe your boyfriend's car? Because it's awfully funny how you said you heard the gunshot, you looked, you saw what was going on, and then your boyfriend called you. Why is this going on? Asking you, did you hear the 50 shots? Did you hear over 50 shots going off? And now within minutes, your boyfriend is in the car with you. And y'all at the scene, at the murder scene, to go ahead and clarify that it was, it was Young Dolph. I find that very odd. Also, let's not forget, it was that paperwork that came up that was inside your car. One of those fabulous YouTube bloggers blew it up good enough so we could see what was on it. You were buying all type of Dracos just 2 weeks before the murder. Now mind you are from Memphis. But at this time, you are living in Texas, Keosha. Keosha James. You were living in Texas, remember? But you came down to Memphis to buy these Dracos. It's just so funny that some Dracos was involved in this murder.
I gotta go, yeah. They say that Dolph, they just killed him. I'm talking about they man was dead, yeah. I ain't never seen no shit like it. I'm talking about my first time out my whole life, ever seeing some shit like this. My whole life. They want us to leave the scene and shit because they blocking us off and shit. I'm finna roll. Hold this back. Dolph, he dead, yeah. They just shot it. It was some niggas that pull up and just let off over 50 shots. I'm talking about busting. I'm standing. You want to go down there, baby? We at the Shells and shit. And me and my baby getting out the car. And I'm talking about before I even got to the door, the Shells door, open up the door and shit. Bah, bah, I'm talking about all you hear gunshots. So I'm looking. I'm grabbing my baby to see where they coming from and shit. I'm looking and see that it's over at the washer that I was just at yesterday and shit. It's the cookie shop next door to the washer. They busting at them. I'm talking about busting, number shots. 2 fucking cars full of niggas. Pull up all black. One car was a white two-door joint. I didn't see the other one, but I seen niggas running and ducking and shit. And they was saying something about Dolph security guard was trying to help him or was doing something. But ain't no security guards up there. Ain't no security guard. Ain't nobody up there but the nigga that's laying dead. And they say that's Dolph car and shit. So, I don't know. But that shit crazy. That shit just really just scared the fuck out of me. Real talk. Like, hell no. I'm talking about shaking so fucking bad. And my baby daddy blowing me up. Y'all just heard some shots at shells over 50 shots. Yes, we just heard this shit. I'm talking about we were just standing in the middle of this shit. The Mexicans and shells and shit, baby, they running out the door. I'm trying to get me and Kale in the store. They running out the damn store. Trying to see what's going on. Man, get y'all ass out the way. Them folks shooting and don't give a fuck where they shooting at. Them folks just shooting. But they say that's Dolph. I don't know. They say Dolph dead, y'all. They obey? Fucking what game? They say Dolph dead. They made us leave the scene. They was like, we ain't no witness or nothing. We had to leave the scene and shit, so everybody just really pulled out. They really just got witnesses up there. But it's broad fucking daylight. Who ain't seen? I'm talking about who ain't seen that shit. Everybody just seen that shit on airwaves. And that shit crazy. That shit got me, man, like fucking shocked. I'm spooked. Hell no, man. Them folks just killed. I don't know if it's true or not, but they say that Dolph dead.
But anyway, where was your boyfriend though? So where'd you pick him up from? You didn't say that. He had to be awfully close for y'all to get to that murder scene before the police had the yellow tape up. Y'all got there quick, very quick. Not to say the police was in a hurry to get the scene secured or anything like that. But yeah, y'all was there very, very quick. And when the police came and asked, were y'all witnesses? Because they wanted to get people who weren't witnesses off the scene. You said you weren't a witness. But in fact, you was a witness. You stated yourself. You heard the shots. Then you seen what was going on. That's a witness. But you chose not to be a part of it. Okay. But anyway, on the scene, you can clearly see who's involved inside Makita's. You can clearly see who was present at Makita's. The employees on the side. Right here in the back, sitting on the car, giving the police their ID. I don't see Raven. I don't think that's Raven right there. She looked like 2 big sacks of potatoes. I don't think that's her. I can tell Raven. I don't think that's Raven, so I don't really see her on the scene. But I do see Maurice. Oh yeah, I see Maurice. We all know Maurice was involved. Y'all can remember Raven said she heard Maurice telling Dolph to stay with him. And we know he ain't say that. It was just a part of her little lie. She was trying to lie on the fly, you know what I'm saying? Raven also said Maurice was getting the witnesses out of the back, the employees. So he was going out that back door, an infamous back door that people was going in and out of all day. But some people overlooked was the fact that one of Dolph's cousin, Paper Rock Quee, that's Dolph's cousin, said he saw Maurice coming out the back.
And then the main, what I heard, that he swore it down. I ain't gonna put family name out there, bro, but he swore it down that Maurice came from the back of their shop. But Maurice didn't supposed to be there, as his daughter said. Everybody know he was there. And that was an inside job. I ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know what that is, man. You get hit. If I'm shooting at you, man, you ain't gonna come forward, man. You is not gonna come forward. You're gonna go backwards. So you got to get hit from the front, from the back to go in toward the window. So it's so many different, how can I say? It's so many different stories that with my little cousin Marcus. He was shooting at them. They even say my little cousin Dolph, he shot back at them. You know what I'm saying? I done heard stories that when he got hit, that the bullets hit the ground and that's how he caught all them bullets in his bodies because they were ricocheting off the floor, hitting him. So like I said, so many stories out here.
Not just the employees. He saw Maurice come out the back when it happened because the shooting out front was a diversion. Y'all want to know who was inside and shot Dolph? My speculation is it was Maurice Sr. He shot Dolph inside. And that little white door, just right there facing the waiting area, that would explain Dolph falling forward. Those movie shootings out front, no shell casings, no markers. I ain't seen no bullets. That was just ghost shootings, a diversion. Maurice shot him inside. That's the shooter from inside. Because he came out their back. There was even a reporter who explained it, before even anyone was talking about it. This is what the reporter said.
Just taking a wild guess, it appears that this may have happened inside. I don't have that confirmed from police just yet, but just looking at what I'm seeing and having covered several scenes over the years, it appears that what happened inside. Again, we don't have that confirmed. And the reason why I say that is normally, if it happened outside, you would see several bullet casing markers, those yellow markers that you see on the street that have the numbers on them. You would see several of those marking where maybe some shell casings have fallen. But that is not what we're seeing here. Most of the efforts, as I can tell, just looking at what you're seeing right there on live television, most of the efforts have taken place inside this bakery on behalf of police.
So we know it was a shooting from the inside. He's been on a lot of crime scenes. It don't take him to tell you that. It's common sense anyway. But Maurice just happens to pull up.
Cause he won't leave. You was gone? Yeah, all I heard was doom, 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 doom. You was gone? Yeah, all I heard was doom, 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 doom. You was gone? Yeah, all I heard was doom, 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 doom.
He's seen people running and scattering. That's what he said. But Raven contradicted it when she said he was there. That's because he came out that back door. Act like he wasn't there. Look at him, he got a shelf hat on and everything. Come on, man. The crime scene was inside, not outside. Come on, y'all. That's common sense. And Maurice was the shooter. But Keosha James don't get off the hook. We know CMG ain't getting off the hook. Remember, it was cameras there. Maurice can attest to that.
You got cameras? So, because they were playing on the light. You got cameras? So, because they were playing on the light. You got cameras? So, because they were playing on the light.
The robbery just a couple weeks before can attest to that also. The hate was just getting too real. They had to stop PIE by any cost. And like I said in my last video, that's just that's what jealousy will do, man. I mean, Gotti's just a hater. You couldn't compete with a man like this. So you had to come up with this super elaborate scheme and plan. But hey, like a lot of bloggers, were saying he was dead the day before, put in an ice truck. That wasn't the case. People on the scene can attest. He was definitely in there, buying some cookies, and they saw him standing there. One witness said that they wasn't paying attention. When them people ran up and did all that fake shooting, that was the diversion for the people outside who was possibly witnesses. Of course, when you see that type of thing going on, man, your eyes are glued to it like you're watching The Godfather or Scarface. Meanwhile, Maurice pops out the door by the waiting area, boom, shot to the head, as Keosha James stated. Don't know how she saw that. His head wasn't hanging out the window. I ain't seen no blood. Nobody seen blood. If he was shot in the head, but he was shot inside Makita's by Maurice. When it's all said and done, I think that will be the case. These are just my theories, versus some of the theories that's been out there on the internet so far. But do me a favor, tell me what you think about this video. Long live that man Flipper. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, cut on that post notification. Man, I'll be back with another update on that man Young Dolph as I dive deeper and deeper into the evidence. Hit that subscribe button, man. Smash that like button. Until next time, YouTube. 1.